Hello, loved ones. Thank you so much for joining us at the Endureth Forever podcast. We're so excited to have you today and welcome you to a space where we endure and embrace and evolve through everyday life. This is going to be a fantastic episode. As you see, we have some wonderful people with us. We have the artist from the single release Life Theory, the wonderful Zimmerman, multi-instrumentalist, we have Malcolm Hyneman, producer and composer, Miss Raven Ray, vocalist, diva, all the above, and Mr. Elon Sason, multi-instrumentalist as well. We're so excited to talk to you all about the release of Life Theory, who you are, your journey, and all of the above. So we're going to hop right in. And I just want to start with an overall question of who you are, where you're from. I'm going to start with our lady of the hour, since you're the only lady with us today. Where are you from? How did you get to this place today?
Yes, I'm Raven Ray. I'm from Ohio. How did I get here? Oh, that's a loaded
It
question.
is.
But a lot of faith, a lot of peace, a lot of inner work, a lot of music, a lot of writing. That's how I got to where I am today. Channeling literally all of my pain into something greater so that I could like not be stuck with that energy and get the art out of me. So that's I'm from Ohio.
Awesome. Shout out to Ohio. Thank
Yeah.
you for being here.
Mhm.
And Elam, what about yourself? Where are you from?
So I'm originally from San Diego. Lived there, grew up there, since I was like 6 years old. And then right around the time I turned 18 out of high school, I pretty much just made the jump to move to LA and pursue what I've been doing for my entire life, which is playing guitar and playing music. Um, Studying at the Musicians Institute. I'm graduating really soon, so I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, thank you. And yeah, I mean, I just pretty much just want my voice to be heard on the instrument, and I want to uplift others, and I want to uplift people's music, and I want to meet incredible people like I'm doing right now. And yeah, it's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you, Elon. And
Of
Kyle?
course.
Hello, hey, I'm Kyle. The sax player on the project. I Where I'm from is kind of loaded as well. I was born in California, and I've lived in Washington and Oregon and Massachusetts. And anyways, all of that, I ended up back here in LA, like a couple hours from where I was born, which is pretty hilarious. Yeah, how I got here is just that I really love music and playing with beautiful people who are great musicians, and I wanted to move to Los Angeles to see where it could take me. And I've been here for 7 years now, and very grateful for everything that has happened and all these great people that I've gotten to meet.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. And Malcolm, what about yourself?
Well, can you hear me okay? I had to make sure that volume is right.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you great.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Well, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, also. It's my hometown. I now live in Los Angeles, California. That's it's just been a blast. Coming from Cleveland and being in California now, like it's just an honor to work with everybody. And that you guys wanted to work with me. I think that's for me kind of like the most shocking thing, because all you guys are like extremely talented, extremely like incredibly gifted individuals. So it's just an honor to work on anything with you, Killer Cats.
Yeah. So speaking of working with you and everyone kind of merging together and coming to this one place of unison. How did Life Theory get started? I know just with observing the artist's lifestyle, It's almost like you're putting a puzzle piece together as far as the relationships that you're building and the networks that you're making. So how did this project come together? As we can see, we're all kind of in different places. How did this happen? How did life theory become life theory?
Um, that's an interesting question. Life theory actually came from the need of needing to honestly get something written, or something, completed in, somewhat of a short amount of time. And it was somewhat of a challenge for myself personally, because, you have a lot of music and stuff like that, from the past. You could just like throw together and be like, oh, yeah, this is but I wanted to try to tap into, resources, a friend group, like, something that was a little bit different than something I've put out recently or in the past. Trying to push the boundary a little bit on the direction that I kind of want to go. But it really came from, the involvement of the stuff that I've gotten into at the school, the college that I just graduated from at the LA Film School. I had the opportunity to join the Grammy U. The Grammy U program through the Recording Academy and everything. I got recommended, and so I did what I had to do that. And this, since they're celebrating, I think it was like 30 years of celebrating, or I may have my fact wrong on that, but they wanted to celebrate, with the Grammy U department this year, and have everybody like submit up to 5 songs and everything like that, which I thought was cool because I just joined and I was like, wow, full circle kind of moment. Like I get to submit something for the Grammys. How cool is that? I was like, I'm going to do that. So Life Theory came from that because I was just like, well, and then Life Theory is just really a song about, I wanted everybody to, perform or, write from a place that was, I guess, a place that, is a little vulnerable, a little sensitive, because it's going to mean something different, to everybody. Um, just about like, how do you feel like you're persevering, I suppose, like, and things that you have to go through personally, things that you have been through, and how people, make you feel like, even when you have to be like the believer in yourself, more than anybody, whether that person's like, talking about you or not rooting for you or, not motivating you, and things like that, so it's Life Theory is just kind of like, no matter what people are saying, like, you still have to believe in what the mission and message is that you're trying to portray more than anybody else.
Awesome. Thank you for explaining that and kind of the background behind life theory. I've heard life theory, and we'll play a snippet for the folks, um, who are going to listen to this podcast. But I do want to know, from each of you, what does life theory mean to you? What is your life theory? There's a quote that you quote, Raven, in your vocals. That's probably my favorite part of the song. It says, I searched the encyclopedia to find a damn to give for you, but I couldn't find it. And I love those lyrics because it's just
you.
like, sometimes you are, in life, you are trying to balance the scale of, you know, just being a humane person and a kind person. But what is your life theory? What does that song mean to you? And then we'll hop from you to Kyle and Elon.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite parts too. Originally when I wrote the verse, it was called Healed Girl Summer.
Mm,
Because like I'm one of those women who like I lean more towards like the healing, the holistic side more than like the Megan the Stallion, that's where it
mhm,
like kind of stemmed from, like her hot girl summer. I was like, well, I want to have a healed girl summer. Like
mhm.
what is there for us? Like,
Right.
So I wrote that verse because like I used to be a chronic people pleaser, like caring what people thought about me, caring what, like just caring. And then I got to a place in life where it was just like, I don't care what you think of
Mhm,
me, what you like, I don't care. So it was like, um, I got to a place where I think my life theory is like, don't play small. Like, don't care what people think of you. Don't care what they say. Like, don't play small, because none of us leave here alive. So it's just like, put all that you have into what you're passionate about, and don't like forget the haters, forget what they have to say. Just do it. So yeah.
I like that. He'll go summer.
Mhm.
I like that. That's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna have to remember that. And Kyle, what about yourself? What is your life theory?
I would say that my life theory, or the things that I think are most important for me, I agree with Raven. I think that if you live your life striving for something as hard as you can and putting as much of your all into something, then to me that's the true way to achieve happiness. But I also think that I also strive to be as kind to everyone around me as possible, because I think that there's enough going on in the world right now, and everywhere, and all history actually. But just if you can, work towards something that you truly believe in and try to become the best that you can in that thing, and while being as kind to those around you as possible, that's the I feel like the biggest goals I can have.
Mm. And you guys all seem like, very kind people, very, very level-headed, very, people first artist.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Elon?
So I mean, I definitely really resonate with what Raven and Kyle just said. I guess for me, I try to live my life with the thought in mind of just doing the absolute best I can for the people I care about, and for the passions I want to take on. And guitar has been the biggest journey for me in life, because I feel like it's been like the only way I could convey my voice and speak to the world. And I guess I think from my life theory, it's just understanding your purpose and understanding why you're here, and doing the best you can to fulfill that, while also looking out for the people that uplift you and support you and are there for you. And just as Kyle was saying, like, just being nice and friendly and inviting to people. Because, not only is it just good for your career as a musician or a person to just take on opportunities from people, but also, in the little time I've been in LA for like 2 years now, and the little time that I've been here, I've realized that the musicians that I look up to the most and admire the most they also happen to be the nicest people I know, and the most inviting, and the most kind. And I think that gets lost, not only just like in this community, but it just in the world in general. And realizing that when people have stuff to say about you, it's just a projection of what they're going on inside, what's going on for them inside. And just keep it pushing, keep making art, keep uplifting others, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Welcome.
Oh, man, you guys kind of covered everything already. But to your point, Elon, yeah, those folks are just heading in a different direction than you're headed.
And we're all headed.
Yeah. But no, seriously, I mean, my life theory is honestly, it came with a lot of growing pains. Comes with a lot of growing pains, as you mature and understand different perspectives. I have a good friend named Kevin. Shout out Kevin Vinci. One of my best friends. He something I learned from him a long time ago is perspective. Like, we got conversation that ended up on perspective, and it just resonated with me for years. Back, years over about close to 10 years now. And I try to understand different perspectives, and different personalities, different energies, and different ways people are, like, so I could, trying to be more wise as I get older, like understand where people come from and what the cause, or try to understand just differences of people, because not everybody's going to react to things that the way you want them to react, or do things the way you want them to, or get, or even understand where you're coming from. So you have to be sensitive. That helps you kind of move on and grow from certain situations and pains and things in the past. But the life theory really, although the message, I think for me it's important to inspire people, as many people as you can. For me, it's just, if you know me, it's just inspire one person, because if you can do that, that one person can change a lot of things. And that cycle is something that can continuously repeat, and just trying to put good energy into the world. And that's really it. Like, and I think all of you said everything perfectly. So I agree with everything that everyone said. So I don't even have to repeat it, because you guys kind of took the words out of my mouth.
Great, great. And I appreciate you guys all kind of saying, I heard words like, purpose and being kind and, taking care of one another. And, even through your music, as far as, how your art, does that in a way. It takes care of people. It uplifts people, it inspires people. And there is a level of vulnerability as an artist that I don't even think I don't know if I could do that. Because you're literally putting yourself out there for judgment. Like, you're putting all of yourself, your talent, your gift out there for judgment in a way that exposes you. So how have you use that vulnerability that you have through your music to either speak as a vocalist or speak as a instrumentalist or a composer? um how have you used that as a strength, like your vulnerability as a strength, to endure tough situations and to embrace what's needed to move forward? And I know that's a bit of a loaded question, but I really want to understand how that vulnerability piece can be used as a strength to get through those tough moments and to push through those tough moments to embrace the next chapter. Um, Anyone can hop in. I really do want to hear from everybody on that question, but anyone feeling led to hop in, feel free to do so.
Yeah, I really like this question because it's something that doesn't really get talked about a lot in
Mhm.
music, is the vulnerability. And it can be really scary, and it can be really daunting, and it could fill you up with a lot of pressure.
Mm,
But at the same time, it's what makes music beautiful, is
mm,
that is the vulnerability aspect, because in that also comes originality and identity.
mm,
And I think that's the most profound and special thing about music, is identity and how it
mm,
comes across. Because whenever I listen to someone play, I try to really hear what makes them unique from other musicians. Or when I hear a song, like a piece of music composed by said musician, I try to think, what did this person bring to this piece of music that I can't get from anyone else? And
mm,
every piece of music has that. And that's what's really special about it. And the great thing about life theory is that there are like 5 different identities or 6 different identities on
mhm,
this one song, and it just makes it great. And yeah, so I guess my perspective with that question is you just have to know that music is a process. And when you release a piece of music, you have to think of it as a staple in your timeline as a musician. When I released this song, this is where I was as a person, as a musician, as a creator. And you just have to realize that if you keep working at it and you keep getting inspired and you keep living life, then it'll get better. And it'll not only will it get better, but it'll also be truer to your own voice. Because often when we start out, we heavily emulate our heroes, but as you go on, you start to build your own voice. So yeah, that's kind of my perspective on it. It's daunting, but it's also the most gratifying aspect of music.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that. I actually love that perspective. I think if you look at the marketplace today, you see a lot of duplication, a lot of people that are doing the same thing. And it's like, we don't need more of people shaking something or encouraging you to turn up. Like, we need more of like vibe elevation and positivity and love. And it can sound really woo woo, but it's like so true because that's where everything starts. And for me, it's like, when me and Malcolm were talking, like kind of our little discovery session of like, okay, what's the vibe for the song? Where are we going? How should I write this? We had this conversation about like the fear of being seen and how as artists, you have to put yourself out there and you have to be like so bold and daring and willing to literally be the face of things. Like even if you are just in the band, or not to say just or to minimize it, but like even if you're a musician or you're a part of the band, you still have to put your face out there. Like nobody is safe, like to just, be in the background. We all have to, we all have to be there. So it's like, we had this conversation about how there's a whole group of people, millions of people out there who your art is meant to reach. And the only way it's going to do that is if you like take all of the fear and move it out of the way, and you just do the thing and you leap and you jump and you go. And we were having a conversation about if I can share, like, even just like doing this podcast and how like this is his first time doing something like this. And I've done hundreds, but we've had a conversation about like, I was telling him this is the key for like visibility, is putting yourself out there. And the fact that he was willing to gather us all together to give voice to a song that literally talks about putting yourself out there and not caring what somebody thinks about it is very powerful. And I forgot what the question was, but it's just like it's just like a powerful thing, I think, when a group of people are able to come together, like Elon said, and we're able to kind of play off of each other's energy. And like, I'm sure he got inspiration from what we were saying in his playing, and I got inspiration for doing some of my ad-libs from what they were playing. So it's just like kind of like this back and forth motion of art. And like I said, I forgot the question. I'm sorry. I don't know if I answered it, but it's just beautiful.
You answered it like really well, actually, because like I tell people all the time, like I was like, you don't have to really tell Raven like anything, like even though like so like pretty much the chorus part that I sang, I wrote years ago, but I was just like at a point in my life where that was my truth, but I was afraid to actually like put it, because I didn't have any other lyrics. I didn't have the rest of the story. And I was just like, that was all I had to say was the chorus that you hear in that song. Like, because for me, it was simple. I was like, that's how I felt. And I was like, that's it. I was like, shit, that's it. Like, I was like, so, now fast forward, I'm just like, having conversations with Raven, having one-on-ones with everybody. Like, me and Kyle, we talk about things, short time since we've known each other and everything. And Raj, we talk. I have to remind myself, I used to be the guy with a tape recorder in high school. Like, I mean, because, you see the movies like Fame and stuff like that. And you're like, oh man, like I go to this school and like people are going to be doing backflips off the tables at lunches. People are going to be tap dancing and singing and doing all these kind of things, playing their instruments. And I was just like so cool to be a part of something like that. So I used to always bring a tape recorder and I, had a little Casio keyboard at home. Um, and I used to just push record and come up with ideas. And when I, got older, my mom and dad, got me, a keyboard so I can record. And I still have like songs loaded on there. I would love to hear what they sound like all these years later. But I would go and just like, hey, listen to this. Hey, listen to this. Hey, listen to this. Like, what do you think? What do you think? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, but like, hey, like, I wasn't trying to like prove anything. I was just excited to share because I didn't really know, the context of a composer at that time. I was just coming up with stuff. So I'm the Fisher Price kid, ran out of colors. And I was just like, I need another color to finish Mary Had a Little Lamb. But to make a long story short, I had to remind myself as an adult that it's okay to have the innocence of a child when it comes to your creative process. Because when I was younger, I had a fearlessness, to create something. And I may not have known as much theoretical things or musical aspects, that I know now then, but I was willing to just, play, things that came to me like, I'm scared of the black keys. No, I don't want to. And then I started incorporating black keys and like, oh, this adds another thing, like, like not being afraid and just continuing. Even, with early musics that I've written, I could just tell like there was a innocence of a child there, like the lack of fear of what somebody's going to think. And I think as an adult, when life be life, and and adults, you got to be adulting, and you got to consider career choices and all these things. Like you start sometimes over analyzing and being almost too particular about what you put together, and too like try to be so or whatever. But, to everyone's point, as far as the vulnerability part, I think it was important for me to kind of remember that, it's just, put all that stuff that you know or don't know, more so the stuff you don't know, out there, you know what I'm saying? Just put it out there and see what you come up with, analyze it later or analyze it as you're writing or whatever, now that you, can do those things. But just put it out there, because I was just like, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want anybody to think that, I'm talking about them or whatever like that. But then we listen to all the songs we know and love, a lot of the great songwriting of the past. Like it's heartache, it's pain, it's all these things. So, all you guys make me feel a lot more comfortable with life theory in general. So I'm done blabbling now.
Oh, thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, so I like how everyone's talking about the fear or fearlessness that comes with being vulnerable. I think that that's a really important part of being a musician, because every single time that you release something, or actually at any time that you play or sing a note, you're putting something out there and you're saying, I think this is good. I think this is my truth, and so every time you do something musical, and obviously putting out a release is a whole nother thing, because you can go back and change as many things as you want. Sometimes it's almost easier to play music live, because it's like, okay, it's done, it happened, but that's aside. So I think a lot of that fear, comes from the fact that you have to put yourself out there and say, this is who I am, this is my truth, I think this is good, and musicians do that on a daily basis, which and I think ends up being kind of a powerful thing, because it either makes or breaks someone, as a musician, and it can also end up helping, I think, a lot in other aspects of your life, because we don't have the opportunity to be so wishy-washy, when it comes with our art, and so then when it comes to important decisions in our personal lives or work lives or whatever lives, I think that we end up being able to kind of put our foot down and be like, this is who I am, this is what I believe, this is my truth, and push that fear a little to the side, just because we've been practicing that every single time we perform, every single time we put something out. And so I think that that has helped me a lot as a person, and helped me kind of work through that vulnerability, and just like sit down and be like, okay, it's okay for me to, put something out there and for people to see who I am. As an add-on, I want to say that something that I don't know Raven and Elon very well, but something that like attracted me musically to Malcolm early on was because I felt a lot of that fearlessness in how he writes and how he produces, and just in music in general. But I know as personally as a writer, I definitely get in my head a lot, and I have a hard time putting something down because I'm just like, well, this sucks, almost immediately. But I love that, Malcolm's always sending me little snippets of stuff, or he's just like, and I feel like you're just putting something down every day, and I respect that. And I'm glad to be a small part of it.
Oh, dude, man, you too. Oh, you guys are killing. Like I said from the beginning, man. I'm the feeling's mutual, brother. Thank
I
you.
feel less fear when it comes to just playing saxophone, but writing is a whole other thing. So
You got it, bro.
It's so cool to hear you all, talk, because each of you have, your own strength within the realm of arts. I know there's times where I'll speak to Malcolm and he's like, Raven's so good with lyrics, like great lyricist. And then, Kyle, Kyle's the saxophone, like comes in and tears it up. And Malcolm can compose and put this together. And then Elon's solo on Life Theory is insane. Like there's so many different pieces that I feel like aren't recognized when artists come together and put a single together or an album together, that I really think needs to be highlighted and uplifted, and really acknowledge that everyone's coming together with their own skill, with their own talent, with their own gift to make this project work. And it means different things to each person that's putting into, this one project. Um, my next question for you all, and it kind of trickles from, how you started and how you evolved to where you are today. But within that music, within that gift that you bring, what do you want people to remember about you when they, when they walk away from one of, Raven's concerts, or when they finish hearing a solo from Kyle or Elon, or when they've heard the master composition of Malcolm? Like, what do you want them to walk away with and remember about you and who you are as an artist?
Mm. I know I just finished talking, but I have a
Please.
pretty clear idea of usually what I want, and it's something I've thought about recently. I would say mostly as a performer rather than like specifically an artist or someone who's like songwriting, etc. But I think especially as a saxophone player, soloist, musician, something that's really important to me is that people hear. Uh, I like to think of it as like a hunger, like basically drive. Like I never want to get to that point where I play something and I didn't put everything out on the table. Like I held it back a little bit. Like I want that. I want people to hear that hunger, like the intensity and the fact that I'm still reaching for something further than I can currently achieve, and that and that I'm not going to be holding anything back in a particular performance. So that's what I would want someone to take away. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to pause for a moment and just welcome Mr. Malachi Rivers to the conversation. Thank you so much, Malachi, for joining us. Seasoned spoken word artist, producer. There's so many things about Malachi. We're so grateful to have you here. Just to throw out one of the final questions that we're on right now, Malachi, is when people walk away from your art or what you do as an artist, what do you want them to remember about you? Like what do you want them to feel and to remember as they walk away? Like, I'm going to remember him for this. So that's the question that we're on right now. But thank you so much for joining us. The gang's all here now, and I'm so grateful. So we'll hop back into the question. And Kyle, thank you for answering. That was actually really dynamic, and I appreciate you speaking to that. Elon, Raven.
Yeah, so, and first off, I just want to say I've seen Kyle play multiple times with his Zona 818 crew, and I just gotta say, I hear the hunger, I hear the drive. He
Let's
puts it
go.
all on the table as well as all those other guys in the band. So if you guys ever get a chance to see that crew play, like, it's amazing. But anyways, yeah, I guess I want people, my favorite musicians in the world are the ones where you hear them and there's almost like a question mark that goes on in your head. You're like, what? Like, what was that? What did I just hear? Like, it's so unique, it's so special, and you got to like rewind and hear it again, and then you hear it again, and hear it again, and then study it, analyze it. And like, I mean, I just want to become, I at the end of the day, it's just my own voice, and I want to have my own identity, and I want my identity to come across. And my favorite improvisers are the ones where you can hear how they're feeling in their solo. You can hear what's their emotions, their turmoil. You can hear if they, went through a heartbreak within the last 6 months or whatever. You can hear these things. And I think that's something so incredibly special about musicianship and music, is that you can really dissect those things. And I don't know. I mean, at the same time, that all being said, there's also a part of me that doesn't really know what I want other people to convey from my music, because that's another thing about music, is that everybody has a different perspective on it. Everybody takes away something else. Like, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, and like, if you just say the word jazz to 10 random people, like 10 different thought bubbles are going to go on in each person's head. Like 10 people will think about different things when you say that word. And that applies to, I guess, everything in life, but especially music. Like, you say the word saxophone, and then it's just, everybody's going to have a different idea, a different exposure to that instrument. And I think about that a lot when I'm performing and when I'm recording. I think about, yeah, Kenny G, there you go. And I know you're not talking about Kenny Garrett. You're
I'm seeing Kenny Garrett tomorrow.
At the Blue Note?
At the new Blue Note. Yeah, I have tickets.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Awesome. And I heard the band he's playing with is really sick too. I wish I could make it to that. Yeah, so everybody, when taking in music, when consuming music, I feel like everybody has their own way of interpreting it, and I think that's really beautiful, and that's one of the things I love the most about music. So I almost don't want to say, like, this is what I want people to take away, but at the same time, I mean, I just want people to hear me. I just want people to understand who I am from my music, and that's what I work at every day. So
Thank you. I'm actually going to hop over to Malachi just because we haven't heard your voice, and I want to make sure that the people know who you are. Really quickly, before you answer the question of, what do you want people to remember, just let us know where you're from, how you got here, and then, what have we'll talk about a little bit about what you have as far as upcoming projects for everybody here in a minute, but how'd you get here, where you're from, and what do you want people to remember about the art that you put out into the world?
See what happens when you show up late, the pressure. Yeah, no, I'm originally from Maryland, the DC area. And yeah, I grew up there. My roots are there. Then I went to New York and trained in New York as well. And yeah, and was in New York for a long time and then made my way to Los Angeles, California. And through that journey, I've been an artist. And yeah, and I'm still on that ride. That's all I can say. I'm still on that ride. And I'm enjoying every bit of it. Yeah. So, and what was your other question?
What do you want people to remember about the art that you put out?
I'm half and half. I'm kind of like with Elon on that. But what I have discovered is, interestingly enough, you are more vulnerable and specific with your art. It becomes more universal. And a lot of times we think that, just be broad and everything like that, and people won't get it if you specifically talk about certain situations and things like that. And I have been discovering that the fact that I have been very specific about my art and things in my life, people have gravitated towards it more, and it has become more of a universal thing. So that's what I would say. Yeah, I want to be able to touch people through my art by being true to myself. And I feel like that has happened recently more and more. So, yeah.
Awesome. And you're right on target. We just got done speaking about vulnerability. And, people don't really acknowledge the vulnerability that it does take to be an artist. So you're right on track with us.
Yeah.
I know we're kind of getting along in the call, and there's other obligations. So I definitely want to make sure we talk about upcoming projects, what you guys are working on, so we can get your things out there and promoted. Raven, we'll start with you. Upcoming projects, what are you working on? What's going on? I saw you were doing some summer concerts, putting out a lot of great music. So what's upcoming for you?
Yeah, life. Just living life. I'm working on my docu-series called Behind the Butterfly, and then I'm
Yes.
working on album 4.5. This is the deluxe version. So I'm working on that, and yeah, that's really it. Just kind of going deeper into my craft and developing it more, and still growing, still evolving, but just like really going like deeper.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about the books that you've written so people can pick them up. What are the titles of those books?
Yeah, so the first one is called Butterfly Language, and then the second one is called Wellness in the Workplace. And those are just like great tools for anybody who is looking to like up level their life. Whether you're an artist, you're an entrepreneur, you are like, it doesn't matter what you do, a chef, a CEO, like it doesn't matter. But it's just like practical tips and action steps that you can use to like really elevate your life and your vibration. And it's really powerful for artists, I think, because we get stuck in our heads a lot, as we've talked about here. And so it's like just a good way to transmute that energy and like get that stuff out of you.
Awesome. Awesome. Healing Girl Season. That's the
Yeah.
quote from earlier. Yes. Healing Girl Season. Snaps to that.
Mhm.
All right. Kyle, what do you got coming up? I know you got to hop off soon. So what projects you got going on?
I'm still good for another 15 minutes or so, but I
perfect.
appreciate that. Thanks. Let's see. So I think on Halloween, I have an album that I recorded on with a ska band called the ska band is called Western Standard Time. I think the album's called Fire and Water. I'm excited for that one. Have a couple solos that I really like on it. So excited for that release. Otherwise, I'm actually going to spend the next 2 months doing a musical down in it's called Pulp Rock. It's a musical based on Tarantino movies, which is it's kind of fun. They've set up a big a big like carnival tent on the property of the crypto arena. It's like just south of it near the lake there, and it's a pretty cool show. So I'm excited to be doing that. So I'm going to be doing like 4 or 5 shows a week for the next 2 months there. So that's going to be fun. I can't really think of much else coming, but I'm sure there is some other stuff.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing, and good luck on those projects. What about yourself, Malcolm? I know you're working on a few compositions and different projects. So what do you got going on coming up?
I'm just trying to get better. My old self would say, suck, you know what I mean? But we've been there in this conversation already. However, no, that's not how I think now. But no, I am working on getting my compositions. I am trying to just be a better composer. I am working on establishing myself as a composer. I know I went to school for audio and music production only for the reason to be able to know how to work in the modern music industry with that skill set. I want to be able to do both. I feel like what I'm trying to do, and some people like to say it's a dying art. There's people out there who are doing it, and I'm grateful that people are still doing it. And I'm trying to get my stuff together and join the group of the long lineage of people who have been writing music, for decades. And that's what I'm working on right now. Is just trying to, I'm working on, I have a big band arrangement that I need to get back on, but right now I'm working on like an orchestral version of like All the Things You Are. It's a song that I've worked on, in different forms, because I love, the way it moves and everything. And I feel like there's so much juicy, fun stuff in that song. And it's just a really fun song for me to practice also, like my own voice leading, my own voice movement, and work on techniques and theoretical things, trying not to think about it when I'm composing, but I'm trying to work on those aspects, those techniques and all the, I could talk about all that stuff, in another interview, but just working on writing, and not just that song. Can I come up with something every other day or something? Is it going to be 2 page, 5 pages, 20 pages? Is it going to be fast, simple, slow, to this time signature, whatever? It doesn't matter. That's my only goal right now. As I'm working on that. Thanks.
Awesome. And you recently did the singles series as well. So just some other projects.
Oh yeah, Sentience Entertainment, new company, California. Really cool quality and everything like that. They have a new TV web series, but it's still in production right now and post and everything like that. So episode 1, episode 2, potentially some movies down the line. And also just got finished working on a wonderful album, if I must say, No Signal, that everybody here on this call also is on, which is super dope, to be able to have the opportunity to work on. Man, I could talk about that forever. But that was an opportunity to show that other side of myself, mixing, producer, composer kind of skills and everything, and being able to work with so many great, wonderful people. And also, I'm working on, a Moment series, if I must say. The series called Moments, Malachi, it wants to speak on it or not, but I have an opportunity to just kind of play some roles on that, behind the scenes with the audio mixing, which is a super awesome opportunity. I'm grateful for it. And that's pretty much it for me right now. But I'm still trying to be a composer.
You are one.
Yes, you are. You are a composer. All right. Elon, what about you? And then Malachi will wrap up with you. Elon, projects?
Yeah, so projects, I'm a really active member in this band. for this artist named Sophie Kaiser. She's like this singer songwriter. She's really incredible. She writes these really amazing songs, and every time I work with her and perform with her, I feel so much gratitude because she really inspires me. We do shows all the time, and she actually just released her first single, which I had the great pleasure and honor to record and work on. And that's out on all streaming platforms. It's called Tether under the name Sophie Kaiser, and it's a great song. I like it a lot. It gets you in your feels a little bit. And yeah, other than that, I mean, like I said earlier, I'm graduating pretty soon. I'm really just trying to buckle down and get everything ready for that. And it's a little daunting to like enter the world of music in LA because I mean, I'm like an infant in this industry. Like I'm very small right now, but you know, at this moment I'm just trying to take as many great opportunities as I can, try to learn from my mistakes, try to, you know, meet people like yourselves and also to what Malcolm was saying, I really, really spend a large chunk of my time, as most musicians do, just working on myself and my craft and my musicianship. Um, I've recently taken on a new philosophy with practicing because I've had kind of an unhealthy relationship with practice my whole life. So I want to see how that'll work for me. But yeah, I mean, just trying my best to take as many opportunities as I can. I also I have a show coming up on the 20th. It's like at this art auction. It's pretty cool. It's in like the art museum in Long Beach. And it's with this singer that I accompany pretty often. She's also really great. She has a lot of music out. Her name's Leela Paloma. And actually, I think that's how I met Malcolm. Malcolm came out to one of her shows, and then we connected through there. So yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, just trying to play as much as I can, meet as many people as I can, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
Good
And
night,
congrats again on graduating.
Thank you very much.
And last but not least, Mr. Malachi Rivers, what do you have going on? Upcoming projects? What's all on your table?
Well, we're gonna have to start this interview over because I feel like I wasn't part of a lot of the conversation.
We'll do a one-on-one.
Yeah, as we already know, I'm just in grind mode with promoting No Signal, Volume 1. That all of you beautiful people had a hand in blessing. So I'm forever, 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 forever grateful. And it's doing some amazing things. So I'm excited about that. And just told Malcolm, just the director of programming for Pandora and Sirius reached out to me and said that he had programmed songs from No Signal onto the station and stuff like that.
Wow.
So we're making moves.
Congrats. That's great.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. And half and half of doing the music spoken word stuff, and then also my series Moments that we're repackaging, which I had to bring Malcolm in to help with some audio mixing that we're since we repackaged everything. But when I say repackaging, I signed with a production company, and so we are taking it
Awesome.
to. Had a meeting with networks like Aspire and TV, which is Magic Johnson's network, and a couple other networks coming up and stuff like that for the series. So I'm excited about it. And so between those two, yeah, I'm tired.
But a
But
lot of great
the
work.
journey keeps on going, and I have been, and that's something I'm sure I'll touch base with you guys if you guys are around or available, and Malcolm will help with that part or whatever. But I have been taking hour or so out of my day to really learn the songs because I'm like, you know what I mean, to go to like learning like what the hell did I say? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to perform this soon. So I've been trying to get it into my brain. So those have been the main things, and just um, really pushing for a lot of stuff for the opportunities. Like I said, for the album and the show, and it's a lot of great stuff happening. So I'm blessed and I'm honored, and just gonna keep on grinding. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's all fantastic. And I heard through the grapevine that No Signal, one of the songs got played in the UK. So I do want to acknowledge that the
Oh
music
yeah.
is getting out there and people are loving it. And to you all, just a round of applause for the great work that you all have been doing. And again, just being vulnerable, enduring and embracing and evolving through the industry of arts, which it isn't easy. It isn't an easy feat to be an artist. It takes a level of strength and courage, and fearlessness. um, and I encourage that continuously in your pursuit. I love listening to all of you guys' music. I'm not a saxophonist, or I don't play the guitar, but I love the solos, and just seeing how creative and how your creativeness can impact the world is absolutely fantastic. So um, once again, I want to thank you all for joining the Endureth Forever podcast. We're so grateful to have you. For those, my audience out there, see these names on your screen, go look them up, go follow them. Go like the work that they're doing. Trust me, this is not the last time you'll see these faces. We appreciate you guys all, and don't forget to endure, embrace, and evolve. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
It's awesome.